Last episode, we built an epic crate workshop packed full of machinery, complete with a hidden basement, and this time, I really need to sort my food situation. So we're going to dive into Farmer's Delight and build ourselves a country farmhouse, complete with a windmill, and plant all the crops we can get our grubby little hands on. And just in the nick of time, the rain started again. Definitely living in the Highlands up here, I tell you. But maybe all this rain is going to help our crops grow, because we really need to get some food on the go. This is what my food box currently looks like. We did well at the start because we raided so many villages and had so many hay bales. We've basically had a bread diet. And at the moment, I've got 139 fish and 87 apples, but that's pretty much the last of my food supplies. And although the thievery worked well for us at the start, I don't want to have to travel that far afield just to go get some bread. Especially when we've got the Farmer's Delight mod installed, which means we've got access to so many different types of food. It'll be a shame not to use some, right? There's also a couple of other little things I want to get done today, but we'll cover that later. But now let's talk about what I've done between episodes, which is essentially just figure out some paths, where they're going to go, and sort out a little bit more terraforming just so we can plan ahead. So if we jump into free cam and look from above, you can see how the sort of village is being laid out currently. And what we're going to be doing is building up on this ledge here today. This is where our farmhouse is going to go. And this area here we're saving for next episode, where hopefully we'll be building our train station, which I'm very much looking forward to. So I think the first thing I want to do is grab some resources and probably actually get the farmhouse itself built, because once that's done, we're going to have a better idea of the space around it, because we're going to need to put some fields in, probably some terraces along here as well. Oh, it's going to be fun today. And after over 300 days of eating bread, I'm looking forward to a nice tasty meal. So I think with this build, we'll do the same thing we usually do and just kind of mark out a rough size, and then we'll figure it out from there. I'm thinking maybe something like that could work quite well. So this will be sort of the main area of the farmhouse. This will be the little entrance bit, and we'll probably stick a windmill on the side here in some kind of a tower. So let's just build up a frame and see how we're looking. So this should work for a basic shape. It's going to be pretty much a one-story building, I think, and then we're going to have a big bit sticking out the top here. This is going to have a windmill on it, and then just a little shack at the side. And I think that should work, especially with a big entrance here as well. But let's quickly get a foundation down. And for the walls, I think we're going to use granite here. Quite like that. I think the granite and the tufts sit nicely together. But this small sticky outy bit here, I think I want to do something slightly different with that. Maybe we could actually use a bit of the dripstone. I do like that color. And we need to grab something for the roof as well. And, well, if we're keeping it in style with these, I guess we're going to be grabbing variants of deep slate for the roof. And are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Rain again! Yeah!
I'm sorry, we seem to be having some technical difficulties.
I'm going to go make a cuppa and wait for this to pass. I've got a fresh cup of tea, a spring in my step, and the rain has stopped. Let's get this build done. Now, where were we? Dripstone, I believe. And now we'll just sort out a roof here. We'll do the usual thing where we put a extra lip there just so it ties in nicely. Now, let's sort out the entrance roof here. We're going to do this fairly simple, I think. So let's just get some of these stairs in. And what variants do we have? Just a couple, but that's fine. So let's work out the front part of this. Do we want to go up a solid block here, maybe? And then back to stairs again. And I might actually curve off the top here and just put slabs. Let's fill this in and see how it looks. I think that'll work quite nicely. Now let's do the big roof. So I want to try and make this look a little bit farmhousey. So let's do stairs, then stairs again. We should probably fill out the rest of this wall here as well, just so we can get a better idea of the shape. So maybe something like this. Then we'll just put slabs at the top again. And then we'll need to get these bits connected up here like this. Same on this side. And that shape, I think, should work quite well. Let's get the rest of this roof filled in. Well, I like it, but I feel that maybe there's a little bit too much roof. Maybe we should try and break it up in the middle here. But let's get this wall in first and see how we're looking. It's already looking better with that wall, but it still needs a roof. Yeah, I really like how that's looking. Whoa! Easy now. Come wobbling out of nowhere. Jeez. Although thinking about it, I've put absolutely no torches in here, so yeah, maybe we should quickly light this place up. It's quite spacious, actually. But as I was trying to say, I think that's looking pretty good. I like the shape of it, and if we have a look from over the other side, yeah, that's going to look awesome with a big windmill on it. But first, I want to sort out this bit of the roof here. I really don't like how that looks. Well, it's lacking some windows, some window panes, some lighting and some detail, but I'd say that's looking fairly farmhousey. It's also lacking a windmill. Maybe we should do that next. Yeah, I think we will. Let's get the windmill on, and then from there we can see where else we need to add detail to the build to make it look nice. But it's already looking pretty cool from down here. Although it does look a bit like a church at the moment as well. But once we get the windmill in, that should solve that. So the first thing we're going to need is a windmill bearing, which looks fairly straightforward to make. So that's our windmill bearing, and then we just need lots and lots of these, the windmill sails. So I guess we're going to need a lot of wool, but I don't think we've got much. 33. That is not enough. So I guess we're going to head off and go find some sheep to shear. Come on, Pickles, adventure time. And we'll just go annoy those sheep we found last time. I really need to dig a tunnel through this mountain so I don't have to keep going up and over it. Yoink. Trying to shear these sheep and my horse keeps wandering off. But it's okay, I have a solution. I can now have a personal horse. So if I press P, that is now my personal horse. So he can wander off and do what he likes now. Absolutely fine. And then when I want him back, I can just press V. And look at that, he teleports over to me. Never gonna lose you, Pickles. But yes, version 0.2 of the pack is now out. There's a lot less crashing involved, I'll tell you that much. It's basically just a few performance mods, callable horses, and steam and rails has now been turned on as well. Not that I've actually used it yet. But as usual, that's available in the Discord, and hopefully soon it will actually be on the CurseForge launcher. But callable horses, what more could you want? A sensible person would probably take some of these sheep back up to their base, but, well, we haven't actually built anywhere for them to go yet, but hopefully by the end of the episode, you will all become mine. Oh, geez, you got close quick. Stop looking at me and eat the grass. Combined with what I've already got at home, that should hopefully be enough wool. I just need Horsey to come back. Oi, Pickles, come here. So handy. Right, let's go back. So this is what we need to make the sails, and that should hopefully give us more than enough. We only had enough andesite alloy to make 54 windmill sails, but hopefully that'll be enough for what we need. I just need a few other bits and bobs. Primarily my super glue. Is it already in my bag? It is. Right, okay, let's go. So I think I'm going to put it right here in the middle of this beam. Although it does need to stick out a bit to avoid the roof, so we'll actually put it there like that. And we'll have a central block that everything will attach to, as well as some fences. I think that's what we're going to use here. Now, what we need to do is just attach some sails. So let's go 3, 3, fell off. Let's go 3 again, and then maybe 2 and 1. How does that shape look? I think that'll work once we get all 4 on. So if that one's going that way, this one's going to go down, and then this one will go to the left, and this last one is going to go up. Now, if we just glue all this together... Right, I think we've got all of it glued together. Now, if we just look at the bearing here and then right-click it with an empty hand, look at that. We have a working windmill. Love how simple they are to make. Oh, I fell. And how does that look from a distance? Yeah, that looks very cool sitting up there on the hill. Love it. But we're not done yet. We've still got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of details that we want to put outside, and you'll be pleased to know, I think... this bit here is going to work nicely as a stable for Pickles. He really needs a home. He's been out in the rain just continuously because it's all it seems to do here. But I think we'll make a nice little paddock for Pickles out the front here as well. There's going to be lots of fiddly little bits here, so I guess it's time for a beardy montage. Enjoy. The house is looking better. The bad news is, it's raining again, but it's okay. Pickles has a home now. He can actually go and live in there. Look at that. Look, he's sheltering from the rain. That does make me feel a bit better, and I'm sure it makes you all feel better too, so you can stop the comments now. I do love my horse. Still need to sort out this path that leads up to the farmhouse, however, and I need to make sure that Pickles has access to fresh water, other than the rain, of course. But although I haven't actually put a gate here, the horse won't escape because it sees this as a 1-block gap, and horses can't go through 1-block gaps. So, yeah, Pickles will stay in there, even though it's not actually enclosed, which is nice. But I've also added a chimney around the back here. We've used some of the chutes from Create as the actual sort of chimney bits there. We've got fireplaces underneath, of course. And I've also sorted out the sort of walkway in between the two buildings up there. I just need to actually go and sort out the interior now. And if we have a look in here, we've got plenty of space, but no stairs. So we can't actually get to the upper floors at the moment. So I might actually just put a ladder in, but I don't really know yet. For this interior, the main thing we want to focus on are the bits from Farmer's Delight, which is essentially a bunch of stoves and baskets and chopping boards and things like that, so we can make a very cool kitchen in here, which is going to enable us to make lots of funky food. Funky in a good way, not funky in a it smells way. So let's get prepared for this. We're going to need a bunch of bricks, a bunch of iron, and some campfires. And I think we've got the campfires here, and we should already have the other bits on us. And we're going to make 8 stoves, which should be more than enough. We're also going to need some skillets, so we'll just make a few of these. And we're going to need some cooking pots, but we need to make some shovels for that. And a bunch of water. So we've got cooking pots and skillets, we've got stoves. We're also going to need some cutting boards. And lastly, we need baskets, but for baskets, we need bamboo for more reasons than one. We obviously need it here for this recipe, but also for canvas, we need to get hold of straw. And on looking at all these different options and ways of getting it, our best option appears to be stripping bamboo blocks. Oh, hello, fellas. I just wanted to go to bed. Look at me, I'm covered in arrows. But as I was saying, we need bamboo, so I've planted what little I had, and I'm just going to keep replanting this, and we should have all the bamboo we need in no time, because this stuff grows extremely quickly. And there we go, we can finally make our baskets. And the last thing I want is a bit of brown wool, but we don't have any brown dye yet. Thankfully, we are completely surrounded by jungle pretty much, so we'll just go grab some cocoa beans, and then we should finally be good to actually make a start on this interior. Now we've got our brown wool, I'm going to use the loom here because there was a particular block that I quite liked the look of. And it was this one here, the stringed brown wool. And we only need a few blocks of this and some of the carpet version as well. So I do have an idea of what we're going to do with these. Oh, great, it's raining again. It's okay, we're going to be indoors, we won't notice. So what we want to do with these cooking pots is make sure that some of them have a basket off to the side of them like that. So if we put a couple of stoves here, and then when we put a cooking pot on there, what this means is as it sort of expels its glass bottles or bowls or anything that might come out of this, it will go directly into this basket instead of just floating in the middle of nowhere. And I've put this stove next to it that we can put a frying pan on. To be honest, I think I'm going to double up because quite often when I'm cooking, I like to cook a lot of stuff at once. So I think it makes sense to do something a bit like this. We'll just fill in the corner with one of these brown woolen blocks. But you see what I mean? They look really cool. I like that. And I do like the idea of having a sort of center console type thing. So we'll have a chopping board here. But if we put the stove that way round, we can also use it as an additional cooker. Now you know why I made so many skillets and pots. So what we can also do, if we put a bit of brown wool there like that, it kind of looks a little bit like a table with a bowl on top of it. And then if I stick some trapdoors around this, it should hide it nicely. Look at that, the kitchen's coming together already. So next up, chopping boards. We'll put chopping boards on top of all of these baskets, I think. If we make ourselves an iron knife and just stick that on there, that's what we'll use for our chopping, which once again will automatically just get collected in the basket. Looking good. We just need a bit of storage for all the food and stuff now. Also, I should probably think about the windmill as well. Because isn't that going to come down here? Yes, it is. Okay, so maybe we can't have this quite like that. But we could do that and then maybe have another couple there, just for a couple more of these skillets. So I'll just keep this bit open for now until we figure out what's going to happen with the windmill. So, food storage. I think the best thing to do is just going to be to put a whole bunch of drawers because we're going to end up with a lot of different things here. So I think it makes sense just to have a great big wall full of all of our food items. We should probably put a drawer controller in as well, actually, but we'll make one for the bottom corner there. And if we're talking about having a ladder here to get upstairs, I think we're probably best off doing something like this. And then maybe we should actually separate off the kitchen here a little bit as well. Then we'll stick some fences in. All right, looking good. We've got a nice looking kitchen area, but it still needs a little bit more. So let's add some shelves at the top here and attach them with some chains. Scatter a few pots around. We'll put some herbs and things in those. Well, saplings, but we'll pretend they're herbs. Maybe stick a chest up there, another basket. We've also got these spruce cabinets, which are part of the Farmer's Delight mod. They basically work exactly like barrels, but they look pretty cool. So I want to make sure we get a couple of those in the kitchen too. All right, looking good. Let's go get a drawer controller, some kind of a ladder, and maybe get the Create 8 bits as well, just so we can actually hook up the windmill. And something like that should do the trick nicely. I've also added a grinder on the side here so we can turn the wheat into flour, and we've got a bit of water down here as well, so we can then use that flour and some water to make bread dough, because that's going to be a key component of a lot of these recipes. Other than that, I've just put a few finer details in. I also figured out that I would actually need to make sure I've got baskets to the right-hand side of every single stove, otherwise the things from the frying pan are just going to go flying everywhere. So I have slightly adjusted the layout in here, and there are less cookers, but there's still 5. I'm sure that'll be plenty. And over here, I've just added a small lounge area. We have a fireplace that goes into the actual chimney, and then we've just got a nice little seating area, and these canvas rugs are really cool as well, and they're made out of the same things that we made the baskets out of, the weird sort of canvas patches. But I think this is all tying together nicely and looking pretty good. Oh, and I also discovered that we can use the bookshelves in the carpenter's workbench, and there's like 15 varieties of bookshelves, so that's nice. But it's all well and good having a lovely, wonderful working kitchen, but we don't have anything to cook in it at the moment, so our next job is going to be out the front here. I want to build a couple of pens where we can keep some live animals, but I also want to get a whole bunch of crop fields down. And I mean, they don't need to be massive fields. It's going to be a manual farm for now, at least the majority of it. So yeah, maybe just a couple of terraces on this hill here will be absolutely fine. So I guess it's time for another mini beardy montage because, well, I've just got to plant loads of fields now. It's taken me a couple of hours, but look at that. That's looking absolutely marvelous. We've got terraces of fields, and at the top here, we even have a stable ready and waiting for some animals. I also started to sort out the path a little bit around here, but I've not done too much down there yet, to be honest. We've still got a long way to go, but this is a great start to our crops. We've got all the food we'll need for a little while at least, apart from the meat. So we're going to have to go hunting and retrieve some animals at some point. Something else I've done is I've dug a hole down here. So if we have a little look, we've got a nice big space underground here, and what we're going to do here is put an automated farm. So we've got the windmill power, which is coming down here. We're going to get that over to the middle, and we're going to have a spinny farm, and that's going to auto harvest wheat and a couple of other crops for us. And to make this, we're going to need a few more create components. So let's head back to our main house and see what we can rustle up. So this shouldn't be too difficult. The main thing we need is a mechanical bearing, and yep, once again, nice simple recipe. And we're also going to need a bunch of mechanical harvesters, which is a little bit more complicated. I think we've got the stuff for that though. Ah, tell a lie, we have absolutely no andesite alloy. And we only have 4 andesite. Well, that's not ideal. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Can't we just make some andesite out of this for now? Hey, look at that. I remembered a vanilla crafting recipe. The last thing we're going to need is a couple of these portable storage interfaces, which once again should be fairly simple. I think we just need a couple of them. So this should be fairly straightforward. The first thing we need to do is just move the power across. So we'll just use some gearboxes and shafts to get it where we need it. And then we'll just stick the mechanical bearing on the end there. And as you can see, it's already working. Excellent. Let's just disconnect that for now so we can actually work with it. So first things first, let's get a field planted. That looks like a pretty good size. And then what we're going to do is just put a row of logs there. Stick some harvesters to the front. Now, how fast is this going? Pretty fast. And also, it's not attached. So let's be sensible and quickly glue this together. And I think I'm going to slow it down as well. So if we do a small cog, then a big cog, and then another small cog, put that one encasing, and then stick another big cog there, hopefully. Yeah, that's going a much nicer speed. We definitely prefer that. So let's stop it again for now. So there's a couple of other things we need to put on here. The first thing is a barrel, and the second is one of these portable storage interfaces, which we kind of need facing the other way. Just like that. And let's quickly get those stuck on as well. And we're going to put the receiver for the storage interface there. So if we quickly spin this around to the right place. There we go. So they will now connect, which is exactly what we want. And that gives us a little bit of space to sort out some storage as well. So something else I want to do here is to change the movement mode. Because at the moment, when this is stopped, it places, which basically means it turns back into solid blocks. So any crops that are planted on these 2 rows here would actually get killed. So instead of that, Oops. Whoa, okay, didn't mean to do that. Let's get that back around the right way. So instead of that, we have some other options, and this one is it'll only actually place it when it's near the starting angle. So, for example, the angle it's at now. But I want this, which is basically don't ever place it, because that way the crops underneath will never get killed, and it means this can go around forever, and if we ever do stop it, it will just stop wherever it currently is, but they're not solid blocks. So we can quickly run around and just plant some crops here. And we'll have a nice variety of crops, but just not too many of each, I think. That's the crops planted. Now we just need to sort out the storage. And I think this should be fairly straightforward for us. Although we're going to need more of this power. And with a belt at the back and a few drawers in front. Bunch of funnels on these to pick everything up. And a brass funnel on the back there should spit everything out. And there we go. So now these drawers here should start picking up everything from the belts. Now we just need to make this room look nice, because at the moment, it really doesn't. And I think something like that should do nicely. We've got the exposed cogs and things that I like over here. We've got the spinny thing doing what it needs to do. And we can have a little walk around and check on the crops if we need to. But basically, that's pretty much all we need. We're just going to leave this running for a bit, and it's going to gradually collect resources for us, but hopefully not too quickly, because we don't want to overload. But that's certainly going to be fine for an automated starter farm, and if we ever need a bulk load or something, well, we've got the manual farm out the front as well with all the terraces. So I'm really pleased with how that build's come together so far, but we're still missing one more thing. Animals. We need animals. We are, of course, going to grab some cows, pigs, and sheep to bring back here and live in the pen here, but we might also do a little bit of hunting as well. Run. Pickles, no!